Hello, Taurus, and welcome to your December forecast. I can't believe we're already at the last month of the year, but indeed we are. It's good to see all of you. Apollo's right there in the background, napping a little bit. I'll pull him up here for just a second. We'll go back to him when he wakes up, but we got a lot to talk about today, specifically what's in store for you. So the way that this reading is organized is you can always use it for Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus. And I always like to begin with some channel messages. So this morning in dreams, one of the things that came through, there were actually two messages that came through loud and clear. The first was basically I was shown a squirrel putting away all of the sort of food for the winter, like nuts and everything. And to me, this is like saving, really, if we were to take pentacles and kind of tuck them away in a bank account, being mindful of what's in store for the future. So for some of you, this may include planning for college if you have kids. If you're thinking of launching your business or making some sort of an investment, it's creating that necessary sort of nest egg in order to give you the freedom and stability and peace of mind that you need to take that next step of the journey. And right after that, I was shown someone looking into a mirror. And the mirror message is really interesting because, of course, we can take it from the sort of lens of meditation. And just reflection, looking at where you're at, looking at where you want to be. But it could also be a revelation sort of energy. So often we move forward without taking time to really tune in and think to ourselves, you know, is this what I need? Is this what I want? Is this me? Because that's what I think of looking in the mirror. So trying something on in your life, kind of like you do when you wake up in the morning and thinking, like, is this how I want to present myself? There may be something in your life where you wonder, could I try this fork in the road? Is this me? We can take it on a much deeper level than just what you're looking at. It's sort of like this experience that I'm in. Is this what I need? Is this what I want? So as we look at the cards today, I'm going to specifically take a look at pentacles and resources and where you might be able to either maximize sort of like what your return is on investments. And we're talking about investments of time, energy, and money, and where you might need to save a little bit. And then we're going to look at revelation energy, looking at people's true colors if they're coming through, or looking at a path that you may not have expected, but it's revealing itself to you. And then the question becomes, are you ready? I hope you are ready because we're going to take a look at the cards now. Let's go ahead and get started. One more time, just looking at Apollo. He is now moved and tuned in and ready to receive. So with his approval, let's begin here. I'd love for you to close your eyes for a moment. We're going to set intentions here and welcome in the guides. So imagine, if you will, that there's a beautiful day that is just beginning. You can see the sun rising. You feel that beautiful connection to source as rays of light wrap themselves around you and create a cocoon of energy that's protecting you and lifting you up. Well, at this moment, let's welcome in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters, and also your own higher self so that we can navigate the opportunities ahead of us. All right, Taurus, let's shuffle the cards and see what spirit has in store for you, I should say. Right off the bat, it's so telling that we've got pentacles on pentacles, so that's great. And more pentacles. All right, so the dream indeed was appropriate. Interesting. So far, pretty good, and I love that we're looking at December and the Archer came through here, so we'll talk more about that in a second. Okay, let's begin. We have, in the catalyst position, I should say, waterproof. This is a really interesting message to come through because to me, this represents like protecting yourself against emotions almost, shielding yourself from feeling vulnerable and exposed and maybe even showing people the way that you feel. Because I associate water, especially when we're looking at tarot with, and oracle for this matter, with emotional sensitivity, vulnerability, and just presence. The truth of the matter is none of us are really waterproof. There's going to be moments in our life where we cry, where we laugh, where we're afraid. And I feel like being able to process things rather than to build up this sort of, sometimes it's an imaginary wall, sometimes it is something that we start to ingrain in ourselves and we just push things back. Find the places where it's okay to let things in. That's the main message here. There are plenty of times where those boundaries are absolutely appropriate. So I like that. But I also think that we can't have so many boundaries, so many guards, so many limits that we're like impenetrable. People can't get through. So it's finding the balance this month. And that's the first message that comes through. Of course, some of you that may have just built something, this could be speaking to the roof or the, again, if there's any issues with moisture or humidity, you might want to look at that. This is more like a construction issue or, again, just humidity in a house, something I recently experienced. So that part makes sense. But I like to look at these on a more abstract level, and I think it is about finding the balance between protecting yourself and then allowing for new connections to be forged. All right, let's take a look at just the general spread before we go card by card. And right off the bat, I can tell it's going to be a busy month here with the Three of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles. It's basically cards of learning and mastery. So that's great. For anybody that's starting something new or going back to school, we already get confirmation there of that. I see new love, relationship, or energy coming through in the form of a person here in the environment, someone that's definitely done their work. This is a card of wisdom, this is experience, and this is passion. So there could be a really engaging connection coming forth. And then forward momentum here. This is the Chariot, named the Archer in this deck. It's pretty good, folks, overall. We'll get into all the other cards right now. We're going to start off with the centermost card, first and foremost. So this is one of the more unique Three of Pentacles, but they hit the nail on the head there with the creativity piece. So I love that she's kind of surrendering herself to the process, to the creative muse, allowing for whatever needs to come through. The traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card is this, and it's basically a card that indicates that whatever you put your time and energy into right now, you have not only the ability to do it well, but to like knock it out of the park and really master that task, that skill, and that even that karmic lesson. And it represents incoming recognition too, because that's what we have going on here. Pay very close attention to the small details. Every little bit counts right now. What I do love about this is she's just letting it happen, like I said, not second guessing herself. We don't always see that with the Three of Pentacles. She's very grounded, like literally her feet are becoming the roots beneath her. And she's just allowing everything to come through as a download. Now, traditionally, this could also be connected with higher learning. So for those of you that have decided to go back to school to get a special form of certification, etc., that's absolutely encouraged and comprised in this card. This is also a card of writing. So whether it is creative writing for all of my authors out there, or technical writing for anybody that is putting together a textbook or curriculum, even scientific notation, if there's something that you're doing that is going to be helpful to others, this is an indication that now it's the time to seek publication and distribute it, okay? Now, let's go to the card that was crossing it right here. We have Eight of Pentacles. Now, together, these are really powerful. This can be, like I said, higher learning. This is also like a teacher and student kind of energy coming through. Also multiple, for those of you that are starting something, there might be 2 contracts, 2 books, 2 opportunities that are presenting themselves. Like I said, if the first one was about putting your attention to details, this is even more detail-oriented. In both the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith and then this Wildwood deck, we can see someone almost doing the identical task. In this case, it's like, you know, hammer and pick and stone, but traditionally it would be sort of like typing something or putting your pen to paper and saying, this is what I want. And if This could be your second draft. So some of you might be revising, editing, or doing a second edition of something. Again, this is also learning and school and writing. So just a lot of that literary vibe right at the center of this spread. It's also saying, read the fine print on anything that you're agreeing to in this moment in time. It's really important to know all the sort of like ins and outs, and making sure that if there's something that you don't like, that there is an out that you can take if need be. What I love about this version of it is we see that hand on the wall right behind him. So this indicates for some of you that there could be assistance, a helping hand financially or emotionally or energetically. Because I saw like this bearing of pentacles, or in the case of the squirrel, all of his nuts and food for the year ahead. So yes, that's a good thing to do, but there's also resources to be had that could speed the process up a little bit. Okay? And for some of you, this can be an indication, 8 days, 8 weeks. It's going to take a little bit of time for things to start to move into the trajectory that you want. So just be patient, diligent, and keep up the good work, okay? This is a really good card for quality. Let's take a look at what's coming through in the karmic position of the deep past. We have the Page of Pentacles here and the links. So what I see for some of you is that you've been really almost premeditated and planned about how this next step in your life is going to be, one step at a time. The links in this particular illustration is cautiously moving. However, it's a fast cat. When the time is right, it's going to activate. And I really get that you've done a lot of the prep work, particularly with these two center cards. And it feels like activation time is really what this whole month is about. When we kind of look at the deep past and the distant future here, it's about taking aim, taking shot, moving forward. So you've done the work. This is basically the takeaway here. And I feel like part of this was because you really wanted to make sure that you could land on your feet. Maybe there was a misstep in the past. And now it's just sort of like, I want to take it slowly. Totally understand that. But it does feel like you've done enough preparation that now is the time to take your first step. So let's take a look here at the recent past. We have the Knight of Cups in the reverse state. And for many of you, this is taking a step back, possibly to deal with a difficult, emotionally charged situation. Could be an argument, could be a change of relationship status. For some of you, it could also be either a very positive or very challenging moment in your life. And this takes a second for you to find your grounding. And that is what the center card was all about. Where do I stand? How do I feel? And we were talking about the mirror earlier. Same sort of thing. You have to see yourself in the equation and just kind of like recalibrate and see if it makes sense. Speaking of making sense, the waterproof message now really resonates and connects with all of this because we are looking at water here, the Knight of Cups. And for many of you, you're looking at the lesson from the past. This is the recent past. And you're saying, I'm not going to do that again, right? I'm not going to go there. And you don't have to. That's the good thing. And as I was looking at this, it says waterproof, but I thought of this old song from like the early 2000s, and it was called Bulletproof. LaRue was the singer, I believe. And the main line is like, next time or this time I'm going to be bulletproof. And so you're okay. You're going to land on your feet. We see this. And just because one challenge existed in the past or the recent past does not mean that it's cyclical or that every person or everything is going to be a template or a repeat of that. This card ultimately is one of flexibility. An eel can get in and out of almost any situation. There's power in this particular totem as well. And so now it's time for you to own your power and know that, you know, it's kind of now like the Kelly Clarkson song, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So you are able now to kind of like leapfrog to the next big thing. And it's really appropriate that your crowning card is the King of Swords. This is a card not just of communication, but also of action. And speaking of communication, for those of you that are writers and we have these writer cards at the center, this is a great time to share your ideas with others. But for everyone else, this is just a call to action. And as we look at this kingfisher that's kind of gliding through the sky, it feels like it's your moment for things to go a little bit easier, to be a little less work. For you to almost coast through this next experience, whereas before you might have felt like you were going uphill and it was like an uphill battle. If you do have something to say, now is the time to say it. If you have something that you want to put out into the world, this is a very good card for having people receive it. It is the ultimate in communication here, basically. So speak up and take action. That's the big takeaway with this. Let's see what's coming through in the near future here. So we have two kings right next to each other. There could be a partnership going on right now. What we see here with the King of Cups in reverse is that one partner is, and when I'm looking at partnership, it could be business, it could be love, but one partner is definitely more sensitive and is taking things a little bit more seriously, and the other one is just kind of going about their business. So there needs to be a moment of calming down a little bit and listening and being present, because it just feels like there's a lot of activity, but not a lot of presence of mind. Now, just as an aspect of you, this is showing just how far you've come. So in the recent past, we had the Knight energy. Now we have the King energy. Like I said, leapfrogged. You've gone over the Queen in one level up here in the suit. And in this moment, if you allow yourself to really kind of just open up, a lot can come through. Whenever we look at cups, they are receivers, right? So you can imagine it as being a satellite dish or just the big cup or chalice that it is, and it's saying, I'm ready for this. When it's reversed, what can happen sometimes is insecurity. And it's not that you're not ready, it's that you might not believe that you're ready, or that you may feel a lack of worthiness, or there's some heavy emotions that are present. And so now that we've got two cards, both water, both reversed, and we have this bulletproof, waterproof card where it's almost like you don't want to feel the emotions, I'm going to encourage you to feel the emotions. This is where you would absolutely benefit from speaking to a counselor, a friend, or someone who's been through it, who can empathize and possibly even instruct or advise on how to move through it. The good news is I do see you coming through this in a really good place. In fact, if we take a look at how you're showing up this month, it's the third king. So yeah, we have three kings. King of Wands. And the way that this King of Wands is succeeding is by rising above. So if we get this close to the camera, we see this little snake pit at the bottom where everybody is vying for attention and kind of like almost suffocating one another. And then we have this one king at the top, an adder, that is keeping an eye on things and deciding when to make its move. And there are two cards now showing animal totems of, it's kind of like taking a step back and waiting for the moment. I do believe timing is everything. So in the deep past, we have the lynx, gently moving, capable of quick speed, but not moving too quickly. And now we have the adder that is at the top of that stone, waiting, calculating, and then when the time is right, acting. And that is key. When the time is right, definitely move forward. The King of Swords is all about that. The King of Wands is about planning. So we have planning and action coming together, and I'm happy that those two cards are in the upright position. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on in the environment here. I quite like it, actually. Ace of Cups, which can represent an incoming opportunity, and then we have the Green Man, which is basically the Emperor in this deck. So the presenting energy is actually the Emperor. So there could be a person that is bringing forth this cup, this Ace of Cups. That's why it's so telling that the two previous court cards, the King and the Knight of Cups, were reversed, because opportunity is knocking. But there is this fear-based waterproof card that is blocking it. So opening yourself up to believe that you're worthy, that you're capable, to receive something that's coming through, and to address any fears that you might have. And by the way, you may just end up writing it into a contract and saying, well, if this happens, I need this action. And if this happens, then we're going to do this. So one of the ways that you can protect yourself is with proper legal prowess. And that's what we have here also. King of Swords can be a lawyer. So get good legal representation and advice, protect yourself. And then I believe that there's a really good opportunity that's worth exploring. Okay. So in the case of love, this can be someone who has a lot of experience, a lot of wisdom, and a big heart. And there's a lot to love with that kind of energy. You're opening up doors of opportunity with love and with business, because the Emperor is also a card for entrepreneurs and anybody that is seeking more stability in their work life. And again, as we were kind of looking at that early Three of Pentacles card, it feels like you're creative and you're grounded in this moment. And all that's really necessary is application of the skill and action, and some great things could come through. This could even be without seeking it out. There could be an opportunity that's presented to you. But it looks very favorable. These cards upright together in the environment, they're showing the mirror. They're reflecting and showing me what you look like, basically. And this one is also showing me what you look like, which is a capable leader. And in the animal kingdom, this is a very good hunter. So many of you have been trying to get something, trying to manifest, and I see it right around the corner. But it may be from a person, like there may be a connector. You have to go through a person, a gatekeeper, or a person that's going to help connect you to that. And then it looks very favorable here, okay? And this one says waters of life here. So for many of you, we're looking at what sustains you. I'm looking at all of these animals that are taking a moment to drink it all in. Ask yourself, what is it that fulfills you? What is it that makes your heart skip a beat? What is it that really makes you excited to get up in the morning? Let's put more energy into that. Now, as we look at where the big opportunity is this month, we have the Hooded Man, which is the Hermit, and it's about coming out of your shell. This is a great card to indicate that you've done the work, which I already saw in the deep past. When it's reversed, it's saying, don't spend too much time overthinking. Don't spend too much time preparing to the point that you lack spontaneity or are easy to connect to because you sound robotic. So you're good. Basically, what Spirit is saying, whatever you've done, the level of preparation is solid. Why? Because these two cards represent graduation, experience, and mastery of a skill. Because this card shows me that you're going to land on your feet. There's been some setbacks, but they're not present right now. We have two upright kings where it matters most. But the emotions could block. So I do want you to focus on overcoming fear and really embracing self-worth. Getting out of your comfort zone is another piece of this. And the Hermit holds the lantern, which then has within it the star. So there's going to be a moment where the spotlight's shining on you. You may not be really comfortable in that energy, but for at least a moment, you're being asked to step into that. You have a great card here in the outcome. Again, especially because December, we would connect with like Sagittarius energy, which of course is going to be the Archer itself. In a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card, number 7 is going to be the Chariot. And so it's asking you, are you committed to the path in front of you? If so, then it's important to take aim and to basically set things into motion. The Chariot here is a little more passive. I don't know what he's waiting for, but you know, sometimes you'll see horses, sometimes you see sphinxes, but he's not moving in this version of the card. He might be planning the next move. He might be waiting for something or someone, but the Archer here, she's very ready. And she's taking aim and she's taking this moment to really make it happen. And I believe this illustration came to you for a reason. December is the time. So pick a moment in December and make that first move. And now let's go ahead and expand this a little bit so we can see more in the areas of health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to start off with health, which is your mind, body, and spirit, and take a look at this oracle card. So we have Aspen spirit coming through here and the word courage. So one fun fact, by the way, this card was reversed, but I'll hold it upright so we can see it. Aspens are kind of like a communal organism where they're connected beneath the surface, and power in numbers here and power in community is what's coming through. So 10 of Pentacles is almost what I'm getting with this. So this could be places where you go to worship, places where there's common interests and you hang out. It could even be like a sporting sort of activity, but it's the family and the community that you have there from that organization, from that group that's going to lift you up. And I get more 10 of Pentacles than 10 of Cups in this because there's structure, there are resources, and it's there to kind of assist in whatever it is that you're seeking right now. So maybe getting a little bit more involved because the Hermit is cut off. And quaking aspens can't really survive as well if they're isolated. It's better if it's a group. So I feel like you're being encouraged to step into group energy. We have 3 at the bottom. This can connect you to the 3rd of December. This can connect you to 3 weeks into December. It can show that it might take up to 3 months for you to feel like you're on your feet again and you have those connections in place. As someone who recently moved, I believe I started living here in August, it definitely takes a couple of months to learn the names of your neighbors, the new places that you may go to shop or eat or walk, and give yourself time. Give yourself time to get the footing. And it does look like the power of 3 will come through. 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. By that time, you're going to be in a much, much better space. Okay, let's look at this just generally speaking. Again, standard disclaimer applies here. I am a tarot reader and an intuitive and a medium. I'm going to be looking at energy. So if there are things that are going on in your general health or body, work with a professional. Now, with that disclaimer aside, let me see what's going on here. Obviously, I'm going to highlight the emotional part of this again because this is a desire to shield yourself. This is showing that being open and being available is necessary, and for a reason, because there's an opportunity, but the emotional piece has to be dealt with. So whatever it is where you're either feeling overly stimulated, like really excited and really just connected, or maybe just dampened a bit or a little bit sad or depressed, we need to even that out a bit. And you can do that also through this, which can be reading, researching, learning, talking to someone. This is an exchange of knowledge here. And this is also realizing that you're not isolated, finding other like-minded people, your own chosen family. That will help quite a bit as well. Okay, other things that I'm picking up on in this spread. Again, just, I don't know how or why some of you need to hear, well, I know how I'm going to say it, but the why I'm not sure of. It's just that this time you're going to land on your feet. I get that something didn't work, but it feels like you just need to hear that you've learned the lesson, and as long as you apply the lesson, you'll land on your feet, because I already see it karmically, like it's going to be okay. And you may also need to hear this. It's okay to cry. It's okay to let it out. Maybe that's what's needed. You're holding it in. So one easy way to release that is through journaling, writing, working with others, which we talked about here, leaning on others, friends, family, and colleagues. And you're going to be able to sort it out by doing that. And other than that, it's actually fairly manageable this month. The only other things that I am picking up on here with 3 and 8 of Pentacles, it can be interactions with what you're eating, and if there's any medication that you're taking, make sure that there's nothing like that going on. Obviously, work with your doctor to see what's going on there. And dehydration could also be something here with all the cups upside down. Making sure that you're getting enough actual water, not just like coffee and tea and things of that nature or alcohol. You need to hydrate, many of you. And I think once that happens, you'll be all right. And that's it. It's pretty brief here in health. It was more emotional. I really feel like that's the center focus here, vulnerability. And when I say that's it, that sometimes is a lot. Like that's all you need to focus on, because it's something that can take a minute, and I'm normalizing that. Give yourself the time and support that you need, because there's a lot coming through in this next category. Opportunities knocking, and I want you to be ready for it. So let's take a look here at this oracle card. I'm going to pull it up to the main camera because the text is a little bit small. As you can see, it came through reversed. We have a jackal, of course, connected to Anubis in Egyptian mythology, and truth is coming through on this. Anubis kind of helped with death and rebirth. So for many of you, you're reinventing yourself. But this card is asking you to be honest with yourself and honest with others when it comes to intentions, desires, and plans. And that's also why the mirror was coming forth in meditation, really reflecting on it and making sure that what's here in reality is matching with what's here in the third eye, what's here in the heart. Heart, of course, being very important to ancient Egyptian mythology, seat of knowledge, and what was measured when you died. So being true to your heart and to your desires is absolutely what the jackal and Anubis is recommending here. So rebirth, reinvention, and getting real. So let's see what's coming through here in major categories. We're going to start off with those that have a job, including those who own their own companies, those that are seeking employment, and those that are either retired or a student. So for everybody, we get 2 major messages here. The need to open up your heart and be truthful with yourself and with others. Let's see how that's affecting those who have a traditional job, which is where we're going to start. So if you work for someone else, one of the first things I see is so many leaders. It's almost like it's top heavy. So maybe you're just in a flat organization where everyone has a very similar title. Maybe there are too many bosses and not enough people that are there to do the work. If that's the case, that would be the first challenge, is making sure that there's an equal division of labor and that everybody's pulling their fair share. So King of Swords, King of Cups, King of Wands. Too many kings for a typical job unless we're looking, at a very small company, which I'll look at in a second for those that are entrepreneurs. But for everyone else, I feel like it's a little top heavy, or the leaders aren't listening to the people that are producing. So we need to have more back and forth between that. So that's the first thing that I'm picking up on. I'd like to congratulate and also just say yes to anybody that is thinking of getting training right now, whether it's a single class, going back to school, or maybe either you might even be training others. Whatever the schooling or learning thing is, it's very good. It's going to help you, take aim, make a splash, and really make things work, okay? So that's great. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Offer help if you can. I like that. That's good community energy. You could stand out because of your leadership. Because when I look at you, this is the second to biggest card when it comes to leadership. The two biggest in the major arcana, and I kind of see them on equal footing, are Emperor and Empress. And then the two in the minor arcana would be the King and the Queen of Wands. So second to only those sort of pairings in the major arcana. So that tells me that you've got what it takes, to make it work here. The challenge for some of you is either shyness or lack of experience in being seen, being in the foreground, or maybe even if you have the experience, it's still like, I prefer to be behind the scenes. You're being asked to stand up and stand out a little bit this month, okay? If an opportunity is offered to you right now, take it. And I mentioned this is the other one. So like energy attracts like energy. So we have Emperor and King of Wands. You are deserving of whatever this is because they're pretty much equal. This may just be a little bit more than where you're at right now, but you're gonna rise up to that challenge, okay? So I'm actually quite excited. It feels like there aren't any major issues other than a lot of competition, a lot of leaders, a lot of voices in the room. So if you have an idea, speak up, speak out, take action, and that's going to help make the changes that you need to see, and also help you just sort of be recognized and supported for the value that you bring to this group. When we're looking at truth, one of these other things that's coming up right now is, are you happy? With all these cup cards in reverse, I mean, it's not all of them, it's two of them. That could be the thing. And it's either too much or not enough visibility. Those are the ones, because the rest of the cards are upright, so that's where I'm kind of seeing the disconnect. Okay, so it's pretty good overall. There's not a lot of challenges in that respect. Maybe just inaction, shyness, or a little bit of a top-heavy organization here. With respect to that, if you're trying to get to the next level, this opportunity could help you and should help you. If there's still a challenge, you've got what it takes to thrive anywhere, I will say that. Now let's take a moment and focus on entrepreneurs. I'm really happy with how it's almost like, I don't want to use the word premeditated or calculated, prepared is better, like prepared and diligent, a lot of attention to detail, a lot of patience, a lot of care, and a lot of heart has gone into this. Now is the time it's almost like people want more from you, so you're going to have to find ways to work in a more efficient way, so working smarter. And for some of this, like delegation and maybe expanding your organization would be the next step. If you're not used to being the face of the company, this is saying to be a little bit more front and center. Overall, the cards are beneficial. We're not seeing a lot of struggle in this other than, again, a call to action. So whatever it is that you're trying to do, it feels like you're done, and it's just a matter of putting it out there for others to digest. Is there competition? Yes. But there's one thing that you're working on or thinking about that is ready to go. And if it means like prioritizing this and kind of like juggling some other things a bit, yes, whatever this is that you just started, that's where the magic is, that's where the power is, okay? I like what I see overall. You use your or leverage your existing goodwill with customers and get some reviews. Three of Pentacles and Eight of Pentacles are about getting those star ratings on Google and other rating systems so that people can see the value that you bring. Okay, moving on to job seekers. I think your biggest challenge is just how many other people are looking and how similarly they are, qualified with respect to the opportunities that you're pursuing. But that being said, we have one ace here, and it's in the environment, and it comes through another person. So it's who you know, not just what you know, because a lot of other people may have, like I said, a similar background. Work the network. It's one person, it's someone who is experienced. And if you are really interested in something and there is a way to access the leader, it may also be about bypassing traditional application processes. Maybe there's an event that you can go to. Maybe you know someone that knows this person, but getting to the leader is probably the best way to make this happen. And because otherwise we see that you are blending in a little bit here. Keep on shooting those shots. There's eventually one that's going to land here. And ostensibly by the end of December here, because we have the Archer, which is very much connected to Sagittarius energy, very December, and we have the Ace here. But it could take up to 4 weeks here, because not the Hanged Man, but the Green Man here, aka the Emperor, is showing that it's not immediately. It's going to take a little bit of time to wait. And with all the sort of holidays that are happening across different countries and across all the different groups that are celebrating right now, from Christmas to Kwanzaa to Hanukkah, New Year's, not to mention the fact that I'm doing this in advance of that. So there's like Thanksgiving in America and all of that. There's a lot of different holidays that are in the mix, so a little bit more waiting than usual. Be patient and keep moving the needle forward. Keep putting out other applications, because you never know when one of those is going to activate. So competition, but possibility for you to make a breakthrough based on who you know. So that's the main message here. Moving forward to those who are students. It's a good time to be a student. Three of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles. Absorbing a lot. You're learning so much. There's at least 2 classes right now where it feels like you're really getting your money's worth here. I feel like emotionally you're a little bit tapped out, and it could just be because you're investing so much energy into these 2 things. I feel like relationships and friendships could also be pulling you in a lot of directions, like around the work here, which is what you're doing. It's nothing but people, like 4 different people around this, ostensibly. That's a lot. And then we see more on this side. This is one of the most populated, like with court cards spreads that I've done in a long time. So take time for yourself. I almost feel like for you, it's impossible for you to get to the hermit phase. For everyone else, I want them to come out of their shell. For you, I think it would make sense to find places where you can concentrate, focus, and feel safe, and feel like you can just get what you need to get done. I remember back when I was in college, I had a roommate that first semester that just didn't really care about academics and ended up dropping out. But because it was always noisy in my dormitory, I would just go to the library or to a friend's place or to the student union or to one of the classrooms that wasn't occupied and just do my work there. And I was able to excel and do great, but I had to change the environment up to get that solace and that concentration that I needed. So find your space, find your safe space. You're going to be fine, but that's what I see. Too many people, too much action, too many people invested in you. And I know that can be a good thing, but it can also be a challenge. All right, retirees. Kind of a similar message here where you get to take a step out on your own. I feel like so many people want a piece of your time. You get to choose, pick and choose, and whether it's creativity, worship, travel, whatever brings your solace, that's also really important here. And maybe you just want to get into the car and drive and go somewhere else, because that's where the Archer could take you. If there's something that you're really excited about launching, absolutely this is the time to focus on that. No shortage of people, places, or groups that you can connect with, but maybe just a little question of, do you need to be in all of those spaces? A little bit more quiet time could be good for some of you that are more in that go energy, okay? Let's move on to the next piece, which is love and relationships. We have a shy card coming through for this one, the fawn. The fawn is in the reverse state, but for anybody that has been in the presence of a deer, you know that rapid movements, loud sounds, or just surprise can make it go in the opposite direction. That fight or flight sort of instinct will come in for some of you. There could be new love. We saw that. There could be new friendship or new connections. Be willing to just breathe for a second and observe who it is as they are, rather than thinking back to what happened before in the past. Let's go ahead and break it down into 3 major categories. Those that are in a loving relationship, those that are looking for love, those that are happily single. If you're in a relationship, there may have been some challenges recently. It could be in the relationship itself, it could be external, and you're trying to get your bearings. You're trying to get to a place where, you feel more like yourself. So together, you might both be processing this in a very similar way. So you may need external support. And that's what we saw here with the Aspens with health, right? So a larger network that isn't the two of you. Some of you have a really big family. My goodness. As someone who no longer has mother, father, and doesn't have siblings, this kind of seems fun, but around the holidays, but it can also be overwhelming, right? Because I see the elders here and the 3 kings. I see some of the younger people with the knights and the pages, and that's a lot. It's a lot of action, a lot of activity for those in a bigger family. Much like students, it's about finding your own space and making sure that everyone has a voice and a seat at the table. It's hard because people communicate in different ways, so finding order in the chaos is going to be one of the challenges. I'd just like to acknowledge that at least one of you seems very, very grounded. I love all of this Pentacles energy coming forth. And I love that it seems like both of you are willing to do the work because this is a student, this is a student. Usually this is someone in high school and college, but I only have so many cards in the Minor Arcana, so we're going to read them as equals. 2 people that are willing to put in the work. With that, anything is possible. Now, you may also have blended families. Because I have multiple kings, there could be an ex in the picture because of maybe a child, right? And so when you share custody, that ex will always be a part of that picture. And it's just about juggling and figuring out how you want to make it work. What do I love about this spread? I love that we have an Ace of Cups here. And I love that we have someone that is nurturing and caring and trying to make it work. I think you can face any challenge this month, really. If you continue doing the work. The only thing that can get in the way is, again, someone that tries to step in and control or tell you how to do it. You too have got this, I see lots of strength, just a lot of people and a lot of voices. So make sure that you don't lose track of each other in this mix. If you're looking for love this month, can you find it? Yeah, but there's so much energy coming in here and there's a lot going on. So let's just break it down for a second. The first thing is finish what you've started, whether it's school or work, there's a task in front of you that matters. I think that when it comes to all of the people that may be invested in your happiness, and this may include getting married, having a family or whatever, I'm not being alone, I can see that concern. That's all good and dandy, but it's really, you don't have to be with someone to be happy. So what do you want? Going back to the truth card, that matters the most. And just get clear on that first and foremost. Is there love that's approaching? Absolutely, here with the Ace of Cups and the Green Man. We didn't necessarily get a type here. What we actually get here is wisdom and heart. And that's really all you need. And as many readers would say, I don't think it matters so much since I got so many types of people here. Maybe you're just at a point here where you're looking for a person that's right for you. It doesn't matter what zodiac sign they are, it's the right connection. And I think that's the right attitude too. We shouldn't discount someone just because of their rising or sun or whatever. Who's underneath all of that? And that actually shows wisdom and strength and presence of mind. So you can find someone, yes. And what I also get here is that they might be a little bit shy. So the fawn, definitely someone who is not necessarily ready to speak up. And now we have someone here that's a little bit shy and withdrawn. And we have now 2 people that are shy and withdrawn. And maybe maybe both of you have gone through something and you're afraid. Someone's got to take that first step. Don't be afraid to shoot your shot. Don't be afraid to go for it and say, all right, hey, do you want to talk? Are you interested? I feel like you've got to break the ice. Somebody has to begin or initiate the conversation. And that's a good thing. And by the way, as I'm looking at this, even though I wouldn't normally connect this with a Sagittarius, the fact that it's called out as the Archer, and we can see all of these kind of in rapid succession, it could be a Sagittarius that's kind of like on the horizon for some of you. But you have almost one of every suit here. So focus on the person, not the sign, and you'll know there should be an immediate connection here. I love that we have the Ace of Cups. I want to get the Ace of Cups and sometimes the Ace of Wands when I'm looking at a connection, because that shows passion and it shows, like the chemistry is there. If you're happily single, good for you. Now is a great time to network. Now is a great time to build and complete projects and tasks. Now is a time when a lot of people are looking at you and trying to kind of like get more of your time and energy. I feel like the sky's the limit. And if you really put your energy behind one thing right now, wow, can you build something amazing? I mean, this is true of entrepreneurs. It's especially true of retired people. This can be something that it's your heart's desire, basically. And we see this green man or emperor really making something beautiful. So this is a great time to create. Interestingly enough, as I'm looking at that Ace of Cups, I'm also thinking about the heart opening up. One of the ways to do that is through bringing in a pet. Some of you might also have a young child that's in your life. And so this could be a grandchild, this could be an adoption of a child or birth of a child, and it can hit any of the sort of stages of life or relationship. So whether you're, like I said, married, looking for love, or happily single, or retired like we were looking at, it can be at any point in your life where you're like, I want to bring something new in. So I'm seeing that as a nice component to your life as well. And again, it can just be an animal like this. And I say just, where this is like one of the most significant additions that I've made to my life. And I know those of you that have pets understand what I'm talking about. Okay, let's move on, folks. We're going to now go to the energy. We just looked at love. We're going to move into destiny. We have a beautiful card coming through here. All the text is on the back. So let me read it while you're looking at it, and then I'll let you see the text. It says, Holy Amethyst, you are the light. And it says, you have a light within your soul. This light will never go out. So for those of you that are constantly looking for the source of inspiration in someone else, just like this particular card here, the Hermit shows the light, the energy, it's all within, okay? Whenever you face darkness, this brilliance has the opportunity to shine. That's definitely Hermit energy. And it says right now, God or the universe is basically calling you to switch your light on to full. So take that star that's in the lantern and become the star. Stand in the greatness of your spirit. Don't back down. Be the bringer of good that you were born to be. I like all of that. Too many words on this deck, but this is all good stuff to live by. The activation here, your mantra is, I am the light of hope in the world. Just really feeling like you are the light. That's the first piece. I think that's enough. That's all we needed was really this first thing. So you are the light that you seek. You are the passion that you seek. When you start to fill that in your life, you become this. You become the Ace of Cups overflowing. That attracts opportunity, and that also shows power and wisdom, which we see here as well. That's beautiful. I like that. Let's move on now to look a little deeper here at sun, rising, and moon sign messages and see what indeed Spirit has to say in this area. Sun, rising, and moon. In the sun sign, we have the Knight of Pentacles. The card is reversed. This is basically reminding you that you're the one that holds the reins, just like we were seeing here in this traditional chariot. It's saying, what is it that is holding you back from kind of like turning the ignition? And in this reinterpreted version of it, taking aim and going forward, right? You may need to go back and finish some unfinished business. So a knight in reverse, particularly when we're looking at pentacles, may say, I committed to this, I need to do that first. Or I always wanted to experience this, I need to do that now. And once I do that, I'm ready and willing to move forward. This is a card that's fiercely independent because there is no knight on top of it. No one's pulling the sort of strings here. Nobody is steering the ship except you. And so it could be uncharted territory for some of you when you're stepping into that independence. And so you may need to take a moment or two to get your footing, to ground yourself and say, I'm ready to do this. But mostly from this, I'm getting to finish unfinished business, to figure out what you want to do, to turn the key and to take flight. All right, let's move on from sun to rising. In rising, we have a very beautiful card here, the Two of Cups. It is reversed. We're looking at a common theme this month. There weren't many reversals until we got to sun, rising, and moon. Otherwise, it was mostly the cups. And yet again, we have this here with cups. So there's something that is kind of like blocking the ability to receive. If you feel the attraction, move forward. If you don't feel it, if there's no chemistry, if there's no connection, the jackal, aka Anubis, came through saying, just tell the truth, that it doesn't feel right. So don't fake it till you make it. Only commit and only engage. It's interesting that we kind of use like engage to talk about engagement, but also like, was it Captain Picard, engage, moving forward. So it is a contract as well as an action, right? So make sure that you're ready to make that engagement. There has to be chemistry and mutual attraction. There's power in numbers with this. Look at how the two of them can make something happen with greater speed. So tune in, be truthful, and use that as your compass. But know this, there could be someone coming in unexpected. Unexpected isn't bad as long as the energy is there, all right? Two of Cups, just like lovers, can also be a favorable sign if you're trying to put some energy into business or anything that requires sort of like a presentation, or even just trying to dispute something. You have this ability to win someone over. So lean into that persuasive energy and know that, again, there can be something done from that mutual beneficial point of view rather than sort of like pointing fingers or trying to make it like I win or you lose or anything like that. Partnership is the key to success. Find a way to that partnership. All right, moving on to moon. Here's what we've got. We've got the last cups card. So I feel like we got all of them. We got the king, we got the knight, we have the page. The only thing that was missing was the queen, but we got a lot of other cups cards too, like the Two of Cups. Now this is reversed. So one more time with all of this. I almost feel like you need to hear that you are ready and worthy, but you have to feel ready and worthy. I can't do that for you. I can only show you that the cards are favorable here. But there is this catalyst energy that's making it difficult to receive. So I'll reference one of my favorite movies. It's kind of like sappy and silly, but also really fun. So Practical Magic. There is at the very beginning, you're shown that there's a curse that's self-imposed. There's a woman that basically loves someone, that he deserts her, and she says she feels this pain so much, she's like, I never want to love again. But the curse extends on to her children and her grandchildren. And so sometimes we can just say, I'm never going to be hurt ever again. And we cut off opportunities because we want to be waterproof or bulletproof. And because I'm getting so many receptive cards upside down, but the rest of the spread is upright, it's not accidental. I read reversals for a reason. And with all of the cups reversed, it's saying there's something here around feeling worthy, about feeling deserving, about allowing for a little bit of vulnerability that is blocking you from experiencing more. And we did get one upright cup here, and it was in the environment. And it was around just feeling like you can still have your power and also be open and also have this sort of flowing energy between you and someone else. Let's turn our attention to one last question. Anything that you're still dealing with, go ahead and ask that to Spirit. I'll shuffle the deck. We'll see what it has to say. Okay, we have a good card here. So the Nine of Wands is basically showing that not only can you do it, but you're very close to the finish line. Typically, this is a person that's a little, worse for the wear. We see like a bandage, a bruise. It's like, I've had to fight to get where I'm at, but I'm not giving up. This is the second time here that we have someone holding a bow and arrow. So it may take a couple of attempts to do whatever it is that you're trying to do, but you can do it. Don't give up if there's one rejection or one setback. This is a card of perseverance and persistence and pushing. And by doing that, you can get what you want. Don't force something, but each day you just keep moving forward and getting a little bit more experience, making a little bit more progress. And, bit by bit, day by day, you get closer to the finish line. Take care of yourself in this process. One thing from a health perspective is sometimes you can get stress headaches. Sometimes you can get TMJ. You can be holding on to stress in your body, but it's usually comprised somewhere here in the head. So stress headaches, migraines, and maybe even difficulty in concentrating because you're overthinking. So take a deep breath and go back to the energy that we saw at the beginning. 3 of Pentacles, grounding yourself. That's going to be really, really important. And that can come through journaling, like I talked about earlier. All right, folks, that's everything for today. Did you like this? I hope you did. Give me a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe. Share it with someone else if you did as well. There's a share button right beneath. And of course, on my social media platforms, I also post it. So give me a follow on social. And if you see this post there, go ahead and send it to a friend and let them know that this was something that you enjoyed. If you'd like to give back, you can always do that through a super sticker, super chat, or a membership. These allow me to do more videos just like this, plus special videos about intuitive development and things of that nature. So thanks to those that have given back. You can always go to my website to find out more about me, or if you missed anything, you can find links there. Keep an eye out for any imposters. I try my best to identify and get rid of them, but from time to time they pop up. So I don't offer private readings and I don't use direct messages. That's a good way to sort it all out. And that's everything, folks. All right. Yeah. Much love and light from both Apollo and I. We appreciate your presence, your time, your energy. And I just want to thank you for being the best part of what I do here. I wouldn't be here without your presence and without the community here that we've all been able to build together. Take care. I'll see you soon. Have a great month ahead.